Hi, good evening, everyone. The title of my presentation is fairly simple. I'm talking about the winds of change. Uh, I hope there are some classic rock fans here. You know, the the song actually was written by Klaus Schmein. I think it was the year 1989, and he had gone to the Moscow Music Festival, which is when actually Cold War was starting to end, and there was a lot of socio-cultural change that was starting to happen, which forced him to write this song, which has gone on to become a rock legend, right? Uh, there's no Cold War which is starting to come down, but there are definite winds of change that are happening when you think about the digital media ecosystem. So I'll be talking a little about that and a couple of other things. So I just want to leave you with two or three key takeaways, right? The market setup, I think Sham spoke extensively about it. I'll perhaps glance through this quickly. The second is, what is it that we are doing, right? How is it that we are trying to cater to all the changes that are happening? And the third is, what is it that you can do, right? So let me just get started. We spoke about the numbers, right? But if you think about India, beyond the demographics, there are a multitude of aspirations and there are a multitude of mindsets, right? Now, the way I see it, my colleague Priyanka is sitting here, and she's the one who typically works on creating all of these micro segments, so to speak, right? There are 6 micro segments that we think about, right? I'm not going to spend time talking about each of them, but here are some key points, right? There are about 900 million AIUs in the country today. And we've always looked at internet as a great homogenizer, right? We've always thought of internet as something which brings everyone to the same plane, right? But the social reality of people and the lived reality of people can be very, very different, right? You dig deep and you go beyond the demographics and you realize that there are different barriers, there are different challenges, and there are different reasons for each consumer to shop online, right? Uh, so, and each of these, sorry, each of these different mindsets correspond to different level of digital acceptance, right? Let me get started with the first, right? So global mindset. What is it that they are looking for, right? And I would hazard a guess and say everyone in this room would belong to this segment, right? You're talking of people who are looking for a very curated experience. You're talking of people, who know exactly what they want, and they just need to be assisted in their journey, right? Uh, when you look at the next segment, which is your urban aspirers, right? They have an innate desire to fit in. They do not want to be wrong, right? Uh, and this would be the catchment, which is global mindset and urban aspirers, who are a large part of the shopping base that there is today. And there are third, who we term as, let's say, dislocated migrants or validation seekers, right? You're talking of people who are largely browsers today. They really haven't gotten into the shopping funnel, right? And the last is, let's say, traditionalist. They are non-browsers. And I don't think there's anything anyone is doing which is going to bring them into the shopping fold anytime soon, right? Now, what it really means is that for each of these segments that I just spoke about, there are 3 distinct tasks that need to be done, right? And I think of them as 3 A's, right? You need to attract customers, you need to assure them, and you need to assist them in their journey, right? And if I think about what we are doing at Flipkart, all the efforts that we are taking actually go on to ensuring that we are doing these 3 A's, right? So when I think of, let's say, attracting newer customers into the fold, we have Shopsy, which is the largest hyper-value platform in the country today, bringing newer customers into the fold. If I think about how we are solving for affordability and how we are solving for both digital and physical access, right? A bunch of things that we are doing around fintech, right? Then you have customers, a lot of new customers who are coming into the shopping fold would definitely belong to tier 2, tier 3. And, and for them, vernacular is what gets them, into the fold, right? So how is it that you ensure that you are making the journey very, very seamless for them? And then let me talk about, a segment I spoke about was global mindsets. How do you engage them more? There is deep work that is being done on personalization. We've kind of reimagined our homepage. A bunch of innovation that we are doing around AR, VR, and Mayur, AL, everyone would be talking a lot about what we are doing on Gen AI, right? And through all of this, what we also do is we try to ensure that we are intersecting the consumer journey with meaningful ads, right? Which is not something that breaks their shopping experience, but it is something that allows them to discover things that they might not even know about. Now, if you were to think of discovery, how is it that customers typically used to discover? Just see the vertical axis first, right? This perhaps is an oversimplification, but there used to be only two ways. You would do search, which were horizontal searches, or when you would browse on internet, you would see display or video, etc., through where you would discover things. Now, over the last 8 to 10 years, commerce platforms have started to come in. When you look at product query migration, in the US, I think close to 70% of product queries have already migrated off horizontals, and they are with commerce platforms. In India, the number would be 50% or slightly more than that already, right? So there's a huge part of discovery that has started to happen on commerce or commerce search engines, right? And similarly, I just spoke about how consumers can discover things that they do not know about through display on video on commerce platforms, right? And all of this is really manifesting in very large numbers when you think about commerce media or retail media, whatever you want to call it. Commerce media really is the third big wave in digital. The first wave really was when search came to the fore. We're talking about 2001, 2002, when search really started coming to the fore. Around 2008 to 2010 is when social and video, kind of became significant. And I would say from 2015 to 16 onwards, commerce media has really started to come to the fore. It is actually growing faster than any other media that we know. And I think there are 4 key reasons. So the numbers are all here. In India, Shyam also spoke about the kind of headroom that exists for commerce media to grow. But there are 4 key things which are the underlying reasons as to why commerce media is growing the way it is growing. The first is search verticalization. So I spoke about how product query migration has happened. I think all of us as users, have started to go to different destinations to fulfill our needs. So we'll go to Spotify when we look for music. We'll go to a Zomato or a Swiggy when we want food. We'll go to Urban Company for services. So on and so forth, right? So there's very clear verticalization that has happened. And when you think about product query, that entire migration has already started to happen to destinations such as us. I think the second big thing is that users are looking at, when it comes to, users are looking at a lot of product queries on destinations such as ours, right? The third thing I think really is about how commerce platforms are able to understand the intent of the customer, right? Now, when I think about intent, you typically think of intent as singular, but it is anything but that, right? I tend to think of intent as a spectrum, right? There are customers who know exactly what they want. So when they get onto the platform, they will search for something or browse for a particular product, add it to cart, and perhaps make a purchase, right? That is an example of strong intent. Now, let's say there was a customer who got onto this platform and bought a mobile phone, right? Now, the latent intent for that customer actually becomes something like a headphone or chargers or something, right? The third would be nascent intent. Imagine someone having purchased, a diaper. Maybe a toy is something that becomes nascent intent for that customer. And the last really is new intent. How do you ensure that you're able to surface to the customer things that they do not know exist, right? And I think what we try very hard to do is understand this customer intent and use this to surface the right content to them at the right time through our ads. And if I were to just kind of summarize, maybe I spoke about intersecting customer journeys meaningfully, providing relevant insights, and being able to provide some incrementality for the ad dollars that advertisers invest with us. So very quickly, there are a bunch of things that we do around display. There are a bunch of things that we do around search. But here are some new things that we are working on. On one of our search formats, which is called PCA, we are launching an interactive carousel. There's video on PCA. There are cross-brand ads that you can do. And we recently launched, I think it's been about 8 to 10 months when we started brand stores, right? It's been quite a success, right? So I would encourage all of you to start building your brand stores with us. A bunch of changes that we are making when it comes to the kind of insights that we provide, huge increments, so to say, that we've already built on our platform, and it's ever evolving. When it comes to, let's say, full funnel reports, etc., that is also something that we have really embellished. And there's a lot of real-time data that will start flowing in the next couple of months. This is just some glimpse of some new releases that are coming. And last slide from my side, I spoke about what are the kind of intersections that we can do, the kind of insights that we can provide. And last is the kind of, let's say, bang that we can deliver for your buck, which is what we're constantly working on how is it that we can increase your return on ad spends. A bunch of things which are on the anvil, which is dynamic bidding, product targeting, audience targeting, etc. So that's it from me. Appreciate all of you being here. Thank you so much.